Hello and welcome to the Kind of Sort of Maybe Show. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about a show called Black Mirror. It's on Netflix. It's been around since I think 2011, and there's a bunch of episodes on there, and we just got into it. Belinda was and I forgot to mention us who we are. My name's Jim.
Claudia.
And Melinda.
Yeah, so Melinda had been watching Black Mirror, I think, since a while back.
Is 2011 accurate? That seems like too far back.
That's what Wikipedia said. That seems like a
source.
really long time ago.
Okay.
But according to it, I think the first season started in 2011, and now there's some the new season I think was back in October 2016, which is the new.
That's when I watched.
Season.
I watched it when the third season came out. Is when I watched the whole series from beginning to end.
Okay, and if you're not familiar with what Black Mirror is, it's like
Black Mirror singular.
I thought it was Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Nobody corrected me.
We did.
Thank you, guys.
We did correct you,
just didn't listen.
You didn't listen. You thought it was racist, also. So yeah, Black Mirror is a show on Netflix. It's an anthology show. It's kind of like The Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, and it has a lot of themes. Well, a theme in the show is technology, which is one thing that's really cool. It's a running theme in every episode. Advanced technology stuff that is happening now, stuff that could happen, and I think it's really cool. What did you think about Black Mirror?
I liked it. I mean, it really gets you thinking. Every episode is different. So you don't know what to expect. There's those that, okay, this is too confusing, let me skip it. But for the most part, it makes you think outside the box and just really get into the story. Because it's more than just a show. I feel like it also talks to humanity. Mm-hmm. It kind of represents some of the issues that we're facing, but it tells them through a different kind of story. And it's really cool. I really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a super trippy show. When I watched it straight. I didn't skip any episodes.
Yeah.
As you're not supposed to do.
No.
You said they don't coincide.
No, they don't. Yeah, they're all standalone episodes, so you don't need to watch any of them to know what's happening in the other ones, which is pretty weird, I guess. That you don't see that a lot happening anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
So that was kind of weird when I saw the first episode, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a fun show, and then I watched the second one, I'm like, wait, what is happening? I don't know.
What happened to the Prime Minister?
I'm like,
what happened to the pig?
Where's
What's his
Tito?
story?
What's happening? But yeah, so it was weird for me to get used to, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so I mentioned it has a lot of, kind of like Outer Limits and Twilight Zone, which were that same thing. And I mentioned to Melinda and Claudia that Outer Limits was a really cool show that came on, I think, Saturday nights and stuff. And it was standalone episodes, a very weird, trippy show. And it just kind of what if this happened? It was almost like that kind of show. And Black Mirror kind of takes that a little bit more, but it's great because it's very realistic. The way people talk, it's very well acted, very well produced. I really like just about every episode. Was there anything that stuck out in your mind? Which show? I know you didn't finish all of the seasons, but anything that you like so far?
So apparently I started watching it wrong,
okay.
Right? And I thought it was a pilot. So it was the social media one, which is called, according to my notes, I don't remember.
That's the thing, a Netflix thing though, because when I clicked it, that's also the first one that it took me to.
So I was really intrigued, and the one that got me really watching him was the social media one, and I don't remember the title.
I think that's Bryce Dallas Page.
No,
dang it, Bryce Howard. No, Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah,
that's the name of the episode.
No, that's the actress.
That's the actress. The one from Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Now, was she wearing
a fat suit?
She was, right?
No, I think she probably.
Oh, that's rude. Because I've seen her in Jurassic World. She's super thin.
Well, she probably ate a lot of food for the show.
No. I think it
for
was
the one episode.
I think for that episode, I think she was meant to be the type of person who always wanted to be popular or whatever, which kind of showed her she had an eating disorder and all this kind of stuff, and she was running and trying to. So I think she was wearing some sort of prosthetics or something. So, but I didn't want to say it.
You're calling her fat, but I think
I didn't say it. You said it was a fat suit. I said, was she wearing something?
But you're thinking that she was actually wearing a fat suit. I think she represented real women.
That's not what that show episode was about.
I wanted to see it though, because I'm like, that's my body type.
I think you missed the point of the episode.
She's representing real women.
No, so that episode she's talking about, and we can pull it up here if you can log in here. The episode she's talking about had that actress, and let's see if we can pull it up.
That in that episode, I remember I Snapchatted you because she said sure,
Oh, she did.
and I Snapchatted you with that. I'm like, yes.
Well, she said
Other
it the
people
wrong
say
way.
it. No,
Okay. Yeah. So with that episode with Bryce
Howard
Howard,
Dallas.
no, Bryce Dallas,
Dallas
Howard,
Howard.
maybe. She like the way society views you, which was really really interesting. Was how many likes or what your rating was.
Right.
So let's say we're talking here.
Out of
and-
5 points.
Yeah, 5 stars.
5
So she would want to be really popular, and she'd talk to everyone like, "Hey, how you doing today?"
A fake
doing
nice,
great.
though.
A fake nice, super fake nice, and she'd 5-star everyone, and they'd 5-star her, or she was hoping that would happen. And the thing that was interesting about that is kind of like these, you have your first class citizens, but based on popularity.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting. And like when she was trying to get on like a waiting list for an airplane ride, and they screwed up her thing, she had to be a 4.2, and she's just been knocked down to a 4.1 or whatever.
But that was for the house, though, right? For the new one that she wanted to buy.
Well, that was also to get like a better rate. It's
Yeah.
kind of like your credit score. So it was just very interesting in that way, and how people can rate you, and you have a bad day, and she got knocked down. Like the police even knocked her down a whole point for 24 hours or 48 hours or
Yeah.
whatever. So
I would do horrible in that society. I would have 0 stars.
I think I would have 0 stars too. I don't know,
But
but
you're nice to people. I mean, shoot, you could get stars from being
But it's
nice.
So
fake
the whole
nice.
thing-
Yeah.
I don't.
being not genuine
Yeah,
would be
she
the
was super not genuine.
not genuine, and I think was her problem.
Yeah.
But it was pretty. There's some good moments in that one. That episode there where she was at the wedding of her fake friend, where she wanted to get her boost her ratings up and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it was.
I
pretty
liked it when
crazy.
I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is Claudia episode.
Social
No,
media
not like in
ratings.
because it was a social media based one, and I know that you're like active and you're good on social media. I'm not like at all, and that's
I
why.
overshare. But like I know I really like that episode too. I feel like it was like society, and I'm like, oh my god, is that me? Is that who I'm becoming? But I liked it. What was I? The whole her trying to rent a car, and they
Yeah.
gave her like the most ugly one with like
Because
the
she
ugly.
couldn't-
They didn't even have a charger for it. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, the
It's like
adapter.
wow,
iPhone 4 now.
That was
like,
hilarious. That was pretty funny though.
Crazy.
I like what they did. It's called the nosedive. Yeah, an
And
insecure
then
office
when,
worker
at the
living in a
end,
smiling.
where she's in jail and she meets that other guy.
And they start cussing
At
because they
each other.
couldn't cuss.
They're like free, and I
They're
think
free,
she felt
yeah.
she felt finally
They
she
were
could
both
say,
It was ironic
Free.
because they were free, incarcerated. So it was like, wow.
Oh, that's true,
It
yeah.
was crazy.
they were in prison. But yeah, that was a good one. That was nosedive. And the cool thing about this show, you see a bunch of actors, big name actors in
Yeah.
these shows. There's another one. Do you want to talk about some of your favorite? Do you remember one? If we can
Do I
elaborate.
remember one?
Do you remember one of your favorites? We can talk about it.
Oh, I don't remember the first 2 seasons, but I liked a lot. I liked like 4 of the episodes of season 3. So
Well, before you get there, let's actually mention since the first season, and I saw it you saw season 1 first, or did
Yeah.
you see season 3?
no, I saw it in order.
Okay, so I saw the first episode of the first season, and when I first saw it, like it starts with the prime minister. I think he's a prime minister. Or he's something. Yeah, I think he's a prime minister. He wakes up. They wake him up to this like kidnapping, breaking news. Like they're
That's the
informing
one I
him.
skipped.
You didn't see the first episode of the first
episode.
season?
I'm telling you.
How
it was
many
so
have you seen?
fast-paced.
Oh
don't
man,
remember
that was
Prime Minister.
that is what hooked me. Well, with the pig.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why.
wow.
Claudia,
Why are we doing this right now?
I don't
Because
know. That is a good. That was the first one,
That's
and
what
from
hooks
then
you.
on, I'm like, oh, this is. That's
I
why I
have
said
to
I'm like,
watch
this
the
is gonna be
show.
a good show. So when I went to the second one, I'm like, what is it? Where is everybody?
Well, so this might freak you out a little bit, and it's going to be a little. This is for mature audiences,
Mm-hmm.
so warning. The kid, I mean, like this show is I would call it like a rated R show.
Yeah, it's definitely rated R because
Yeah,
there's
it's
a lot of
rated R.
like scenes.
Yeah, there's nudity as well.
Yeah.
There's vulgarity. There's a bunch of adult themes. So it's a rated R show. So this podcast will.
It's like a
Deal
UK
with
thing. I
that.
don't think they care about anything.
They don't care about that. I mean, but it was a good episode, Prime Minister. It's very the thing with this episode. It's very real. Like, how do you deal with terrorism
Yeah.
or a kidnapping? And so they kidnapped the princess
Princess.
of of England, and so they had her, and they put this thing out.
It was
If-
like one of those hostage videos
Yeah.
of like, do this or we'll kill her.
We're gonna kill her.
And so this that they were talking about.
Go ahead, Melinda.
No, it's okay. You can say
It's
this
hard.
part.
It's very hard to say. they literally wanted him to, have relations with an animal, specifically a pig,
A female pig.
a female pig, on live air in front of everyone.
Live, like streamed across the country.
Yeah.
So everyone can watch it as it's happening.
So the whole thing about that is when they got the video, he's like, okay, we'll pull it, talk to the media, make sure they don't run it. He's like, we already have.
That part I liked. Like
He's like-
seeing like the media,
Yeah.
the way they reacted to it.
They're like, we've already talked to the media. Nobody's running it. Nobody's picked up on it, but it's already like on YouTube.
CNN, I think they said that. So like no one in the UK was running it. So like they were following, but they're like, oh, CNN already started running it. So
not
then
yet. So what had happened? They said like YouTube, it's on YouTube. How many people have seen it? Well, we estimate around 50,000 people, and we'll pull them down. Once we pull one down, 6 more pop up. So they're like, that's the way the world is now. There's a video on there. Once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever.
Yeah.
So that was the whole point of it. So they'd pull it down. They're like, well, turn off the internet kind of thing. It's like, we can't do that. And so then the whole point was the news media didn't run it, but one news media ran it. So everybody's like, hey, I'm sorry. I know we have good relations, but we got to run it. So they actually ran the details because everybody already knew. That's why it's an interesting show that you shouldn't skip because it deals with a lot, like your life.
it was
with media.
news and politics,
Yeah.
and you saw regular people because I think it showed like a hospital where like the nurses were like watching the
yeah.
show. They're like normal people, like, do we watch this? It's gross.
Oh,
like,
it's
do we
gross.
look away?
Is he going to do it? He
Yeah.
has to do it. The
And then there's also like
polls
so all the
things
people
like that.
like his staffers were saying like it's okay, we'll hire someone
CGI
we'll CGI it, it'll be fake, you don't have to do anything. And they found out about it. I think they found out who the actor was going to be, right?
Yeah, somebody tweeted that the person, or put it on Instagram, that like this famous, like what do you call them, like a porn star came by like, hey, what are you doing here? And they like snapped a photo of him. It went viral. So the dude who held the girl hostage found out that they were trying to do some trickery
And sent a
finger.
and said,
With the
we're
ring.
gonna kill her if you don't. It has to be you. Like, we'll keep sending you pieces of her if you don't do what we want.
And he had the time limit, like 3 p.m. You had to do it by 3 p.m. So the prime minister,
And they also had like shots, like it needs to be this shot, so we
Yes.
know that it's not
One
tampered
shot.
with.
It's
yeah.
one shot. There's no cuts moving around, and it was very specific. And so they go and it's like, is he gonna do it? Because if not, the princess is gonna be killed. And so they're like, the polls are saying everybody would respect you if you did it. You'd save her life, that kind of thing. And there was a certain point when they found out he was gonna fake it. The polls went against him. Now the whole population was, going against him. So it looked really bad on him. So what do you think? What did he do?
Did he do it?
So they sent
What
the
do you
finger.
think he
They
did?
sent the finger to the media, and they had a video of like what you saw of her crying as he was cutting. So what do you think happened at this point in this position? Was it something that you would to save the princess? So it was very rough. It was very tough. His staffers were saying nobody would blame you. I mean, he got very physical with his staffers too. Like there's one point where he like grabbed one of the ladies
Very
and
verbal,
very
very-
verbal, very upset. And like his wife, he was ignoring his wife, and like I think she wanted to talk to him. I don't think she wanted him to do it. So he ended up doing it. He
For hours.
yeah.
It went on. It was live streamed 4 hours on TV.
And people felt bad for him because of course he's not getting anything out of it, but he had to do it. So it was very rough.
I hated the way it ended, though.
So then like it turns out, then you just see a wide shot of like nobody on the streets because everybody's just watching. You see people at the bars just watching. What was very smart too. Did you see they're like, it's going to be a felony in order to possess this video for reproductions.
yeah.
We're going to play a tone at the beginning that makes you nauseated and like it's going to give you discomfort.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch it again, there's this tone in the back or whatever. So it was very smart with technology of how they would prevent it from being spread again. But yeah, so you see a wide shot, you see the princess walking, and they find her, and she's okay. She has all her fingers.
So it turns out that the guy who was keeping her hostage had killed himself before the live stream, and he let her go
like 30 minutes before.
30 minutes before. So like the
did it
prime
for
minister
nothing.
literally did it for nothing. For hours he was doing it.
And the guy who did it, he was this artist. He did it. It was like an impressionist. Like it was this. He was making a statement.
Wow, that's
He was
crazy.
making a statement, and like they just show him like hanging, I think, or
Yeah, he
something, like
hung.
his feet dangling.
He hanged.
So And at the end, the wife, like his approval ratings went up. Everybody respected him, that kind of thing. But
He
it
like
broke
won
his
re-election or
yeah,
something.
one re-election.
And like, but
He had
him and
broke
his wife,
marriage.
yeah, they faked. They
He
had to
did.
fake, huh?
Because he did a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like at all the time he was calling her, he like ignored her. Like I
That's
think
messed up for the wife.
Yeah.
I'll have Pablo watch it and then pretend that I don't know about it.
Yeah,
And be
go,
like, babe, you have to watch it. Just wait.
no, it is a good show. And you guys, you millennial. No, you youngsters.
You're a millennial
I
too.
know,
You
I'm
can't
just
say
kidding.
that.
He's an old millennial.
I'm an
But
old
he's a
millennial.
millennial nonetheless.
I don't know what's up with you guys because like patience, let it pay off. You know what I
I
mean?
thought it
It
started
was
real
not.
fast.
You
and I
can't
was
generalize
No,
because
I'm not. I hate generalization. I'm just
You're
joking.
Melinda.
No, I'm.
what does that mean?
You like long things and you have like the whole time in the world to watch.
No, it's not
him.
that. It's like appreciate it.
intrigue.
Yeah, it's intrigue. It's like with those shows, it's Ghost. So with those shows, you kind of have to like let it set itself up because what it's doing is essentially these shows right here, they're 45 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of set up the characters, you're setting up the plot, you're setting up the world for these 45 minutes. You don't have an hour and a half to fill it in. So, I mean, they're compressing a lot of things within there. So it's just one thing that I think you might have to like take your time with it.
Yeah, because some episodes do start slowly, but then they get good.
They're all good. They're all good. So yeah, that was, and what was that one called? That was the national anthem.
Pig episode.
Yeah, the pig episode.
That's why when you messaged us, you're like, I just watched the first one about social media. I'm like, no, the first one is politicians and pigs.
It's because Netflix has the third season as a first
It
season.
does
so I
do
thought
that.
it was
In
a
your
pilot.
defense, it does do that.
So it was weird.
So did that. So that was the first episode of the first season. The second one, I kind of listed them in order. Second one that I thought was pretty good too was a 15 million merits.
I didn't like it
You didn't like that one?
at all.
Okay.
I think
So-
of the whole series, that's one of my least favorite. It's probably
Really?
like up there, like top 2 least favorite
Is it because
episodes.
they're on a bike exercising?
That's rude.
Hate.
Yeah, so what was it about that, you know, like,
I didn't. The tone. I felt it. It felt fake to me. Like I guess because of all like the technology. I guess behind it. It looked fake to me, and I didn't like it. And also, I didn't care for the actor, like the main characters. I didn't like any character. I couldn't relate to anybody.
yeah, they were obviously, I think, born into this world where that's all they knew. You can say like their little house was like
It was
whatever it
like
was,
a
8 by 8
cubicle,
cubicle, and their view was digital screens, which I thought was really, you saw that one?
Yeah.
And their entertainment. But what I did like was the advertisement that was forced on you. And I mentioned this to you, just like if you're surfing on the web
So dumb.
and you get an advertisement that pops up, but it's possible. So you get this advertisement that pops up, and for him, he's a male, so he'd get these like, you know, websites
Very
for
graphic.
mature, for mature advertisements for males. And you'd get it up there, and if you turn away or close your eyes,
Point stay
it
in.
no,
Oh,
it
no, it'll-
stops. It pauses and it makes noises, so it's very annoying. Beep beep beep, because it's forcing you. If
But then it also gave him the option
It gives
to
you
skip
the.
it.
You can-
but you
You
have
have
to.
money.
You have to
you have
pay to skip.
an ad.
It's so crazy.
And that's not very far fetched. I mean, we're doing that with YouTube. We do skip ads, or we have to watch a 24-second ad sometimes, or even like a minute ad if they pay for it. So eventually, it's our time right now that they. I mean, essentially, we are paying for it with our time. But in this world, you are paying to skip an ad, or else you have to suffer through it. And if you close your eyes and try to ignore it, it hurts you, which is really interesting.
I think this episode spoke also about health. I felt, to me, because I know everybody interpreted
Yeah.
it differently, but I felt like they were on the bikes,
Yeah.
constantly working out to gain, I guess, to be felt healthy, but also that healthness or wellness contributed towards their points and their lifestyle. So the more they worked out, the more points they had, the better food they could eat. But it had to be like healthy, and that vending machine that they would go into. And then in those a couple of scenes where you would see the workers and they were all chubby and yellow, and I was like, okay, this episode is kind of talking about health.
I didn't see the health thing. I saw it more that it's a they're. I mean, the way I saw it is they're generating energy. So apparently they're producing. The more they work, the more energy they produce for the world or that place that they live in. So and then they get paid or merits for them. Then they could spend them on like really their only stuff they could buy is digital avatar stuff. Hats for their little cartoon character, hats for that
Food, toothpaste.
food, everything. Like when you bought toothpaste,
Yeah.
it's a certain amount of he uses on the toothpaste. So
What?
Shout out to Mark for the koozies.
that's what we use. The ones we use. Yeah, so that was good. The 15 million merits, I thought it was very sad. There were some sad moments in there with the girl. He develops that relationship with the girl. Well, there was that first girl that kind of showed him that trick, and then he blew her off. And then he
Let
found
me
the
show
second
the other girl.
Yeah, the exact same script, and he fell in love with her and gave her the 15 million credit or merits, and then she went to this
Thousand.
American Idol. This million.
Hot
Was it
show.
It
million?
was called 15 million merits. Yeah, that was the name of the episode. So 15 million merits.
That's a lot.
It is, and it took like 6 months for him to
Bye.
make it. So that's what he was saying. The equivalent of that is working 6 months, like busting your butt off for
But he
it.
would skip meals and eat
Yes,
like people's
People's
leftovers.
garbage and stuff.
So he gave her that. He gave her that chance to go to the American Idol / America's Got Talent,
Well,
whatever.
they called it Hot Shot.
Yeah, Hot Shot.
It was like America's Got Talent
'Cause
because
they can
everyone
do
could do whatever they
everything,
wanted.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
it
were
was
so mean, like made her.
yeah. Have you not seen the ones that are here, like the real ones in our world?
They don't make people flash.
I know they don't. This is an extreme version of
Yeah.
that. So because they're selling themselves, and when they're in the audition room, and even that girl, I've been waiting here for weeks or whatever, and they never went up. So she went up and she sang nice, and they gave her right before she went up there. She drank that compliance, remember, and it kind of made her just drugged her up. So she sang, and she was more suggestive to suggestion, and yes.
We know how to
Obviously.
English.
So they went, and it was very unfortunate. And then he got revenge, I guess. He tried to get revenge, and then he just bought into the system
So dumb.
and got his own show and got that bigger cubicle with even more fake
Trees and whatever.
trees and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like that episode because of the ads, the advertisements, and everything that is very realistic in our world.
I didn't like anything about that episode. I didn't like the ads. I didn't like what they had to do. I didn't like how he sold himself. Oh man, I didn't like anything about that
It
episode.
was very sad that she
I
was
didn't
stuck in
like
that life.
I think
Sad.
I think
That
like
was-
ranked that's probably my least favorite episode of all of
Really?
them. Yeah.
I have a couple of least favorite episodes, but I thought that was pretty good. And I think the last one of that season was it the entire history of you? Was that the one?
Which one's that?
Can you hit your?
I have no notes.
Let's see. Which I think is the one where he could. Yeah, it's a memory implant that they have. They
Oh.
can redo, rewind.
I didn't care for that one.
You'd like that
the
one.
relation.
Sancho's.
Sancho's, I
Oh,
know.
I
You
need
didn't
to go
see
back
that
and
one?
watch that one.
Why do you want to
skipped
watch
it?
No.
I need to go
Oh,
back
yeah.
and watch it.
So you saw 50 million merits, and that's it.
Yeah, I saw 50
know.
million merits. Be right back. Be right back. So sad.
That's
That
a
one
sad
should
one.
be out. On season 2.
Yeah, so entire history of you was cool. Concept of everything you do is recorded. You can redo, rewind, and watch it. So you're
They
like,
could have
how
gone
did they do
somewhere else
that?
with that. I hated that they
And he
used
was
it for a
right.
relation. I know, but they could have gone somewhere else with that. And like history or something. And like a historian, like, oh, remember when I did this in like the museum or something?
Sounds boring.
No, but instead they went with relationships, and this whole 1 hour episode about this relationship where she was cheating on him, and
Yeah,
it was
she was
so
cheating.
boring.
Oh.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is like, remember, it's a relationship thing. You're like, wait, you never told me you were off today. The way you were talking to Pablo, and he's like, yeah, I mentioned it to you yesterday. Well, let's redo it.
Let's
Let's
rewind
read it.
and watch it.
That-
Just to be clear, he did it.
Bye.
Let's rewind the cover. Put it on the TV right
Yeah,
now.
let's watch it.
And
Let's see if
you
you're
put it
right.
up on there, and you're like, rewind, and then like he'll see the part. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna be off, and then he's like, see, I told you, and then or if he was
The
wrong.
thing is,
you
it's
call him
all
on
the
it.
evidence is there. So
All the
like
evidence is
we
there.
could tell well, every time Jim lied, like
I
we would
never
know.
lie.
We would know about it.
I tell the truth. Yeah, so it's the whole concept of a relationship. You said you were only with, like, the whole point of that one is like, you said you dated this person only for like a week, and then you never said it was this person. Yeah, it was only a week, and then every time she'd say it was a couple months, and
And
it was
they kept
months
changing
now.
it, yeah.
You know, it was like, oh, it was a whole year, you know, that kind of thing. So obviously it was deeper, and like though he'd notice the body language and rewind, and the way she laughed at certain jokes that weren't funny. Is this funny? And he'd bring people into it. It's a jealous episode, so you'd like it.
No,
So-
will it make me like overthink?
Yes,
and have
it will.
anxiety?
Yes, it will. It will.
Except you
Like,
can't
if I
redo.
movie player.
You can't rewind. You would be like rewind it now, and you can. And what was cool in that one too. So there was a gross part where the guy was talking that he had a relationship with the guy's wife, but he didn't know they were dating or whatever. He's like, yeah, sometimes you just go down there and rewind those old relationships and blah blah blah, and then later you found out he was talking about his wife or whatever. So he got really upset, really pissed off.
I want to watch it.
So it's
No,
a good.
you're gonna overthink.
But as far as the show, it's a good episode. It comes off to those, those things of like the evidence is there. These memory implants, it's just about behavior, that kind of thing. And there's some people who choose not to have them.
Like the way that it started, so like he was like at a job interview,
Yeah.
and so on his way to, so he did the whole job interview, and then he was going to the airport or whatever, and so on the cab right over there, he started playing the job interview. That's a good concept to me. That's what I would have wanted to see. Did he get the job? What happened?
I'm like, oh man, I want to see the.
I was
future.
rooting for that. Like I
He didn't get the job.
I
Spoilers.
but
He did terrible in the interview.
I know, but he was able to see that, and because I can relate, as I've spoken to you before about my interview here.
You did a redo.
Is it?
You have a redo.
I was able to like, I can pick, see what I did wrong, how I can improve. So that's ways that I would use a memory implant. Not to talk about like relationships. Who cares?
And we're back. Anyway, so yeah, that was a good one. Another episode. Anything else that sticks out to you? I guess we can talk about our
No, we're done with
favorites.
season 3.
Season 1.
This is season 1.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Can you lock your phone real quick? Well, I guess we can talk about some other ones that were in there pretty quickly that I guess are least favorite up to our favorite. So what was some of your least favorite out of the 2 that you watched?
No, I watched more. Okay, I watched White Bear, I watched Waldo, I watched Be Right Back, the social media one, and then the one that I skipped.
Okay, so 4 episodes, 5 episodes.
I guess the one that I started watching, but then you said is really good, is the one with
The
relationships. What was it called?
what? I thought you were talking about the video game one.
No,
You started watching
Oh,
that
I
one,
started
no?
watching, but I didn't really
You didn't
watch
finish
it
it.
enough to skip it. But the one before that.
You meant the one that was
is-
sad, right? Be Right Back? You like that one?
I like that one.
Okay.
That's
You
season
want to
2,
talk a little bit
episode
about
1.
that one?
Yes, that one is pretty much. If you haven't seen it, Be Right Back is about this woman and this man that are married, and you just get a glimpse of them together, and then the next morning, or was it at night?
Were
he
they
goes-
married?
Yeah, they were married.
They had a good relationship too.
And the husband goes out and gets in an accident and dies. She's trying to recover from the loss, and so she is introduced by a friend to this like software that allows her to talk to him again and have conversations based on his like social media profiles, his messages, like his texts,
Yeah, his public
and all
profile.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings that to you, to what could happen when we can't get over the loss of someone. And I don't know, I really like the idea, I like the concept, and also the whole, I mean, it's freaky. She made a robot out of her husband.
Yeah. So the thing that was cool about that episode is like with bots. I mean, we see there's Twitter bots, there's bots on everything. You can chat with a bot on like a store website. So that was really cool. But taking the whole thing of your public profile and then saying, hey, do you like this? Give us access to your private and we can make it more suited to you. So just the jokes and all that kind of stuff was really cool. Then it took it to the next level of, like you're saying, they shipped the robot, a beta test or whatever, and then it actually mapped what he looked like. And I thought that was really interesting. It was really interesting. So you want to add anything to that one?
No, I thought it was a good episode overall. Like, I guess ethically or morally was, something to think about, whether would you do it or not? But I think as an episode, it was really, really good.
Yeah, that was a good one. Some of the weak ones, I think, in the whole season, I'm gonna, I guess, start
The
from
whole
the
season or
bottom,
series?
in the whole series, because I watched all of them. I know it's been a while for you, but I'm gonna start at the bottom. My least favorite episodes. So they're all pretty good. I would say the Waldo moment is probably the weakest one with the bear.
Mine too.
It was, he was kind of annoying. The bear was annoying. I mentioned to you, it's kind of like Triumph, the insult comic dog, running for office in American standards, or, just telling off a politician, and then him getting this popularity and just making a mockery of the system. Where that sounds familiar.
See stuff like that.
I know.
Could that happen?
I don't know. Probably never. That would never happen. Another one that the second one that I thought wasn't as strong was a White Bear. I kind of got like
Which one's that?
White
Oh,
Bear
that's the one where they're
is-
filming on their phones, right?
it's the punishment of the killer. For the killer, they erase her memory and then restart it every day for tourists that come in, and that's why they would be recording her, and she's an attraction. So her punishment for life is, because she's going to be, unless she's sentenced to death, is reliving this every day, and then she finds out every day what she did.
Like hell.
Like hell, yeah, and then erasing her memory and then doing the same thing every day. So that was okay.
I was intrigued by it, so I watched it all, obviously, but I
Should watch
kind of
all of them.
reminded me of like The Walking Dead, so I was like, okay, I'm so glad
Really?
this is just.
They
one
weren't even
episode.
zombies though.
I know.
But I thought they were zombies when they dressed up in the masks and they
Zombies
came out
don't dress
killing
up.
people. I was like, oh, this is Walking Dead. And then the woods, and I was like, ah.
Did this thing fall asleep again? Okay. No, I thought it was one of the weaker ones. Third one that I think, I mean, it was actually pretty strong. I'm going to put one under that. San Junipero, the one that you felt uncomfortable with.
Why are you saying
No,
that?
because VR. Did you see that one? It was with this awkward girl that reminded me of the girl from Stranger Things. What's her name?
Barb.
Barb. Does she remind you of her?
The glasses and the red hair.
Yeah, the whole glasses and red hair. What do you call those people?
What people do?
So glasses and red hair. And she was traveling. It was a cool concept because if you haven't seen it, the whole point ends up being, they don't tell you straight up. It starts off in the 80s. This city called San Junipero. And it's pretty much where people go. People kind of like the Matrix jack in to go into this world, and they can kind of do whatever they want. They just party, they can hook up, they can do whatever. And it turns out towards the end that it's like people that are, I would say, like in hospitals,
Like the deathbed.
Deathbeds, pretty
Like
much.
coma patients.
Yes. So coma patients where they have brain activity, but they have nothing else. They're able to go in here and live a life, but for like 5 hours a day or 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Something like so every
So the
week
doctors
they
have
come in.
to
It's like a therapy session. They get to at least live for a little bit. So maybe some people in more severe cases get to live there longer, and it resets at midnight. You find out later on that like the two main characters, like they're in their 80s or something, and the other one has been like quadriplegic, like she was in a bad car accident, can't even do anything. So the whole thing is when you die, they have an option.
decide where you want to go.
Yeah. So you can just die as regular, or you can upload your consciousness to this pretty much a digital heaven where you're forever, you live there. Your consciousness, it's you in digital form. I mean, obviously your body dies, your soul, whatever, but in there you go on, exist, and you make decisions, and you can do, you're not like, oh, I'm not real. You're real to yourself. You're real. So they go in there, and and the whole thing about it is it's two women. So it's a like lesbian couple. Like one of them, she was married for like 50 years.
That
or
was
something.
that's when I started thinking, I'm like, oh, something's weird with this. Is
Yeah.
when the first time that they meet, and she's like, before I met you, she's like, I was married for a long,
Yeah.
long time. I'm like, girl, you are like 15 years old. Calm
Yeah,
down.
she's like 20 or whatever, 18 or 20, whatever. You're in your like the form that you want to be or what you were when you were younger or whatever.
Like your
So,
prime.
Your prime.
Like you choose
yeah.
like when you're
Your avatar, and it's like real world kind of thing.
Mm.
And then they even mentioned one time, I hope you have your pain receptors on 0 or something, because she was up. You can hurt yourself and die and not
Mm-hmm.
get hurt, because it's digital. So the thing that was cool about that one, it was like a digital heaven, and it was a love story. I thought it was interesting. And that'd be something cool, like for people in our world for terminal illnesses.
Yeah.
You can live out an entire lifetime, even if you like in 1 minute, even if you had, you could, you were going to die. So that was a cool concept. But then one that kind of like you didn't like.
that I didn't like.
yeah.
All the ones you're saying are like I apparently have like negative
You hate
feelings
them.
for.
Well, I
yeah.
think because these are my low episodes. That kind of hurt me. I mean, it was a good episode. Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah. The
Did you watch
whole
that one?
episode.
I liked like the character when he first started, and I was like, oh, it's just a cool kid, whatever, or like a nerdy kid, whatever. But it's the way it starts is, for example, you get they get like some dirt on you. So this kid, I'm again adult themes. He goes into his bedroom, closes the door. I think his sister was using the computer and got like a virus. So he goes into his bedroom and he puts on some videos or pictures and he starts doing stuff to it. And they record him on camera. So they send him an email. We saw what you did. And he's like, starts getting real nervous. Call us on your phone, give us your phone number, or we're going to send this to everybody in your contacts list. Everybody will know. And so at that point, they don't tell you. You're just like, oh, this kid did stuff, on video. So they end up, they tell him tomorrow, be here at this time, or he gets a phone call. They text him, be here at this time, and he has to be there in 45 minutes. So he rides his bike over there, gets a cake. They drop off a cake. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this? They give him further instructions. Go here now. So he runs over there, give it to this guy. And then when the guy delivers, takes a picture of him, and they're like, just do what they say. And then like everybody, they have everybody on this. So everybody has there's some dirt on them. So you find out that this guy who delivers the cake to, he is gonna been talking to somebody online about like hooking up, and he's like, nobody can know about this because my life will be ruined. My wife will leave me. I'm not losing my kids. I'd rather slit my throat than lose my kids. That's what he says. So they go along with it, and they're like, okay, open the cake. You have to decide who's the driver and who's the robber. And they're like, what? So like they open the cake. There's a gun, a hat, and glasses. And so he makes the kid go and rob. And he's like, I'll be the driver. He's like, you're just gonna leave me? He's like, no, go do it. So the kid goes and robs a bank, pisses his pants while he does it, gets some money, gets in the car, and they leave. So they get away. You're like, okay, now they separate. You go burn the car. You need to go into this forest to the drop off. He goes there, another guy's there, and there's like a camera recording them, like what do you call those? The drones. He says, we have to fight. He's like, what do you mean we have to fight? It's like two other guys. It's him and the kid and the other guy. It's like, we have to fight. That's what they want. He's like, what did you do? And the kid says, I just looked at some pictures and they got me on video. He's like, me too. I looked at some pictures. How old were they? And then like that guy was a pedophile. So that's what the another guy was a pedophile. And he's like, I just looked. So he goes, we got to kill each other. So he pulls a gun. The kid's going to shoot himself. There's no bullets in there. So he has to fight the guy. They don't show any of that. But later you just see like the guy come home, the driver, the other guy come home. He's actually from Game of Thrones also. I was telling you about it. Good actor from Game of Thrones, Tyrion's friend. So you were going to say something?
No, just a kid that he's like stomping or like.
Yeah, like he's walking back and there's like this montage of all these people like no audio, like how could you sick pervert, like shots of all the people that were in on this thing that were said you do this, we won't tell anybody kind of thing. So they're off the hook and they're getting text messages with the troll face like that, that what you call it, right? The troll face. You know what I'm talking about? That ugly
like
emoji,
I don't even know how to describe
not
him.
an emoji.
I don't know. You know though.
You've
It's
seen
like
it.
a white emoji, like dude who's making
Yeah.
a face. Like that it's a trolling.
It's
like
a trolling
you'll know.
face,
Yeah.
So everybody's getting that. And so like there's the guy goes home. He's like, okay, the guy who drove the car, he's like, okay, he's good. Like, oh, my wife's not going to know. And like she gets there and he sees the kid and goes into the bedroom. The wife's like crying and watching like on her laptop, like a video or chats, whatever. And then like, so this guy told everybody. So the worst part about it that made Melinda and I think me, that ruined kind of the episode for it. The kid's walking and the police just start coming up because he just murdered a guy over here. He robbed a bank. But the worst part about it was he gets a phone call from his mom and she's like, what the hell were you doing? Why were you looking at that and whatever? And it's not because it was what he was looking at. He was looking at child porn. So earlier, and they don't say that until that very end. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was me. Like my whole thing, I'm like, wow, this episode's so good. Like either, they did everything and they're still getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But then I heard that. I'm like, oh, that's so gross. I hate it.
And then they kind of alluded to it in the beginning. There was a little girl who forgot her toy at the table and he grabs the toy and he goes up real close and he gives her, and he's like a teenage kid. He gives her the toy and you're like, oh, sweet kid. That's a nice kid. But to him, it was like he was into that.
The little boy from the beginning.
Yes.
Oh.
And so
Yeah,
it ruined that at the end. And I mean, it was a great, really well done episode. I could have done without that part.
Me too.
because that kind of ruined that character of that kid, because he was like, oh, poor kid, he's in this rough circumstance. I mean, just who cares, just whatever, right? But that's why, because he was looking at child pornography.
But then when the guy had asked him, what were you looking at? He said pictures.
Just
and then
pictures.
You said,
and then the other guy had said,
well,
how old were they? But I'm like, no, but he didn't never, we didn't see what he was looking at.
That didn't click to you?
At that point, I was just doing, look, because even the other guy, no, it didn't click with me. I didn't see him as a pedophile.
When he said that, I'm like,
what did the kid respond?
No, I just looked at some pictures. Like they got me in video looking at some pictures or something. He's like, me too. How old were they? And then I was like, oh, that's a pedophile. I saw that guy. But then thinking of the guy, the driver, he probably was in talks with someone that was underage as well. And that's why it was also a very big deal. But he lied to him saying, oh, it's just this girl named, Mindy or whatever.
That's not funny.
For those of you that don't know, that's
Melinda's nickname.
So that was pretty funny. That was a serious episode. So that went kind of in the bottom because that last part ruined it for me.
Yeah.
God, it was such a good episode too.
Good episode.
So as a good episode, I would bring it, I guess, up there with, okay. Shut Up and Dance is a good of the bad episodes. Yeah. What? Anyway, so there's a lot more, a bunch of these. Another one, I guess, that was there. One of the last ones I saw that was okay. That was pretty good. And I caught it right away what it was. The Men Against Fire with the roaches that you mentioned, episode 5, season 3. So like I was like, oh, they're already manipulating them to shoot because the whole point is there's these neural implants that people have, soldiers.
They're soldiers.
They see, like imagine the insurgents if they saw them as monsters. So it'd be easier to kill them. So that was the whole point of this one. And one thing about that, like they literally see them with fangs and they can't understand their language. So imagine going to war, but this is within your own people. And the whole point was they were impure. For example, their blood, they had higher risk for cancer, higher risk for MS, higher risk for diabetes. So it was like a fascist system that would get rid of the ones who were impure. And that was a very, I know, right?
That's a really good episode.
It was a good episode in that case, but I did like the acting. Everything was good about it. And I just wanted to mention, like in drones and stuff, even in our military, I don't know if you've noticed or aware, like with anytime they're flying drones, they kind of make it seem looks more like, or like through the C-130, I don't want to say C-100s, it's camera. The airplanes that are up there with the night vision, it makes it look less like reality and more like a video game. So it doesn't hurt your mind, when you're actually taking lives, because you're just seeing bullets hitting. And it's for that PSTD, post-traumatic PSTD.
PTSD.
I wrote PSTD.
PTSD.
Yes, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Good job.
So... yeah, it helps with that. So this was the whole point of this one. If you don't see them as human, they're not human.
They're easy to kill.
Easy to kill. And in this case, it was its own people. And what was sad is they saw them as monsters, but regular people just saw them as impure. Like they didn't like them. They called them roaches. Yeah. Like, oh, we found a roach nest, and they saw them like that. And the whole thing where they kind of turned it on him, where he's like, you agreed to this. And they made fun of technology a little bit. The whole thing with tech was here, the neural implants, your eyes, you'd see like your imagine your phone, you can see all that cool stuff, but in your vision. Where he signed up and he agreed. He's like, well, that's a lot of text, bro. Whatever. And he's like, I ain't gonna read it. Well, pretty much it says you agreed to all this stuff. All right, thumbprint. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. And then like he hated himself because they erased his memory. He agreed to all that without reading the terms of service, which is hilarious. We all do that. Okay, next. Or do you read them? Do you read them? No. Neither do I. Apple owns our souls and lives and firstborns.
No, I remember I read the one for, I think it was Tumblr. I think my freshman year of college, because I had heard that they would sneak in like funny things, like bits, like, I don't know, just they'd sneak in funny like words and like stuff that didn't make sense. And so I would read it to see if it was real, and they did.
Funny stuff within the terms of service?
Yes.
That's hilarious. Law, it's binding, right? Like, law bind what?
Sure.
Okay. So that was a good one. And coming up to the really good ones, we've already talked about Be Right Back. We talked about the history of you. 15 Million Merits.
The video game one.
National Anthem was disturbing. Now to like the last 4, I would say. White Christmas. So I think I have my top is Playtest. Second, Hated in the Nation, which is the last episode of season 6. And White Christmas. Those are my top 3. Sorry, season 3, episode 6, season 3. My top 3 are Playtest, Hated in the Nation, and White Christmas.
I just want to say for our viewers that when I watched it, the favorites that I would guess for each one of you was correct.
Oh, really?
What?
The social media one and Playtest.
Playtest, yep. That was my favorite. It was great. So let's talk about White Christmas first, from 3 to 1. Well, nobody else has a list. So. Did you see White Christmas? You started watching it, right?
I stopped probably halfway. Because I don't know, I felt like it was going real slow again with the slowness.
Jon Hamm.
But
Jon Hamm. I don't even know him from anything else. I just
Man.
Yeah, and so I knew he was in that, but I didn't.
You never watched Man?
I didn't. Never got a chance
and Tongues was in there.
Tongues. Are you sure?
Tongues.
Yep. Big Harry Potter fan. Nephrodite. What's her name? Nymphadora.
Nymphadora Tongues.
Nymphanarnia.
Nymphanarnia Tongues. Don't call her Nymphanarnia. That's correct, right, Perla? So yes, Jon Hamm.
Yeah, so
it was a good episode. I love the idea of blocking people in real life.
I hated that idea.
What?
I didn't get to that part. They do that.
Like, if you don't like someone, you can block them in real life until white noise comes out, and
a static silhouette of you.
A silhouette until they can't see you. You'll be a blurred figure for them. Man, I'd block everybody.
Yeah, she'd be we'd be like, hey, Melinda. And it's just a muted thing. But the thing is, so let's say she blocks me. I know that she blocked me. So I see her silhouetted as well.
Yeah.
And she can't hear me. She can't see me. And I can't see her.
Would you know who it is?
Well, yeah, because she blocked.
No. You don't, unless you know who has blocked you, you won't know who it is.
Yeah.
So the guy, when his girlfriend blocked him, the only reason that he later knew that it was him is because he felt her, or he, right? That's how it was. He not smelled.
Well, no. He was one time walking down a street and he saw the blocked figure. He's like, holy crap, that's my ex-girlfriend.
And that would mean that only one person that he knows has blocked him.
Yeah.
And so he starts stalking her after that, but still, I think it's the
this is
passive,
a weird one.
passive aggressive heaven. That they're mad at you
on Facebook. If you you know how you block people on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, but in real life, in conversation, which would be you know what, we just don't want to deal with that person, whatever, you block. So, and it's totally accepted because we have our implants in our heads and whatever we can see and all that stuff. And that one was a good episode because it was 3 mini stories within one episode, which all came
coincide.
Together. Yeah. So you have Jon Hamm, and in the beginning, I don't want to ruin that episode for you. So
no, go ahead and do it. I'll go watch it.
So you thought it was in what? You don't want to ruin it for it?
No, because that's a good.
It's a good episode.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in that one episode.
I stayed in the club.
I'll just talk about.
That was the first. First 2 minutes,
10 minutes of the show. It starts off like Hitch a little bit. You know what is it Hey, did you see? I just came in here and I just saw. Did you all see that naked guy on the horse outside? And then the conversation started, and then he's like, "Yeah, he had a bow and arrow and everything. Did you see that?" You're like, "No." And then it was just very funny, the way it started, and so it felt like Hitch, one of those hookup, like you're saying, romantic comedy style, but it goes completely different. I don't want to ruin that one for you specifically.
I want to go back and watch it.
But he also has a job where he talks about why he's in a certain situation. He also there's a part where he talks about what his job is, and his job was to take you'd put a neural implant, you'd take it out, you'd put it in Amazon Echo, imagine that, or Alexia. That's her name, right? Alexa. So imagine that, but it's a digital copy of your consciousness inside of this little device.
So you will know you best, right? So you would know everything that you like, right? That was the point of it. So she knows that she doesn't like her. She likes her toast super burnt. Yeah. And so who knows that? She knows it herself. So it's like your slave. You're your own slave. Is
And
what
the
it was.
worst part about it is the person in there is you. So
you think it's real. Like,
you're like, what are you doing to me? Why am I in this box? Why are you doing this? So he breaks them. He will be like, hey, are you going to help? Are you going to agree to this or not? No, I'm not going to. Okay, let's see how you like 2 weeks of nobody. Boom, 2 weeks. He fast forwards like 1 second is like 2 weeks for them. It's like, there's nothing to do here. They get bored. So he drives them like to
Crazy,
compliance.
yeah.
Yeah, drives them crazy to make them do it. He's like, all right, 6 months. You behave bad. Boom, 6 months of their time is like a minute in his time. So like he breaks them like that.
Oh.
So it's a crazy, and then finally, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. Okay, all right. So then they get him on board, and that was like within like 10 minutes of his time that he broke this person. Great concept of that show, of that episode. So sad. Robot slavery, consciousness.
I know.
So sad. But that's a part of it. And then at the end, the blocking thing, and we won't go too much into that. But yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's really good. So that was one of my favorites, the top 3. White Christmas with John Hamm. Second favorite episode for me was Hated in the Nation. Now this episode was like an hour and a half long.
I loved
This
it.
is like
It was
its
very
mini
like
movie.
Sherlock Holmesy for me.
X-Files. It was like totally X-Files movie. The characters were great in it. You got to know them. Yeah, like Sherlock Holmes. They're trying to figure out this thing. Felt like Law and Order as well a little bit. Just really well done Law and Order acting. Like I said, everything's so top notch with the production with these shows. And the technology in here was great. Like bees going extinct. We hear about that all the time. So they developed a solution. You have robot bees that go out there and pollinate and go out in hives and build self-sustaining, solar powered, very cool stuff. But with the drawbacks, what do you think these things that are flying around everywhere, what do you think they'd be used for as well?
Military.
And the government probably for surveillance, right? So the whole point was that was like the little back door within there. But the thing that brought it with more like technology as well was like, let's say Twitter, the hashtags and trending hashtags and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the way they basically hacked this bee to kill. It starts off like they hack the bee and it kills this journalist who's hated because she goes against people with disabilities.
Somebody did like was like in a wheelchair, like
wheelchair.
set themselves on fire, like a wheelchair martyr, and she talked bad of like who cares, or whatever. So she was trending on Twitter and everybody hated her, just like nowadays. Like
yeah, and so she gets killed, and no one knows why, and so that it just keeps happening throughout the episode. People are getting killed the same way, but they don't know how. I think the second was like a rapper or something.
Yeah, like the first one, she actually slits her own throat, like tries to like gouge something out of her head because there's so much pain, and they don't find that out until they thought it was a husband that did it. That's why it's like kind of a law procedural show, procedural. And then the rapper that kind of like he's on Ellen. Imagine a rapper going on Ellen, and they show one of those viral videos like, oh, look at this little kid, he loves you, look at him dancing, and he's like dancing, and he's like, that guy's goofy. He's goofy as F. I mean, he has no moves and whatever. And the little kid was backstage and kind of like crying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Imagine that.
So he also goes trending.
Number one
gets
hated
killed.
person.
Yeah.
So, and the thing they use a hashtag called #death2.
So what you find out is that they start that every day, I guess. And so whoever is trending,
By 5 o'clock, they'll get killed.
They'll get killed by these. You later find out that it's like the killer bees or whatever. But it's crazy because what dictates it is Twitter. So, and you don't know, obviously, that you're killing somebody in real life. But so whoever's like if you are mad at someone, you'll tweet #death2. And then if I hate you today, I'm going to put Claudia. And if you get enough tweets,
Like
whoever
retweets.
gets the most tweets, so they put them in order. Whoever gets the most tweets, that's the person that dies that day.
So they were hacking these bees to do that. And so they were like, it's impossible. And it was great because when the lady who was a partner, like I guess a Watson or whatever, she was very tech savvy.
Yeah.
So she knew the words, she'd be talking about things. And then they go to imagine the people who are in charge of it, the tech people, and they're trying to figure it out. So it's a cool detective episode and trying to find all that. And what was cool is like the mob mentality. So we see it on Twitter nowadays where somebody gets like the most hated person of the day or whatever.
Whoever says something bad, everyone's going to bully them.
Boom, number one, So let's say somebody, like there was an example of a lady who she pretended to pee on like a what
A
was it,
national
like a national
monument,
monument,
like a war
war
vet,
vet.
a war vet.
memorial or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, war memorial. So she
She was
went.
a regular person. Like she
Yeah.
wasn't like a politician or anything like that.
So you just see all her mentions where people were like retweeting at her death too, and then people that hashtag started coming about. So the whole thing was that I mean, we're gonna spoil this episode. I thought it was cool at the end. They cracked the code, but they found the lady, the tech person, this is too easy. He wanted us to find this freaking like hard drive and find the encryption code. If we click OK to take over and disable the drones, he's making us do it. And the thing was, they found a list of 350,000 people, I think, like 350,000 people that had used that hashtag. So the whole point was he wasn't targeting those specific people. He was targeting the people who would attack the people.
Which included someone in like
The police area.
department. Yeah.
And so like a part of their team or whatever, because he was like that. So he was like trolling the trolls, I guess, or trying to find out who the trolls were and targeted them. So at a certain point, all these bees came online and turned evil, and like as a swarm went and found even like a teacher that she had used that hashtag. So they were all there while she was teaching, and they like break the window and they like burrow into your ear, nose, mouth, however, go into your brain and go to the pain center one until they either you kill yourself or you die from pain. So
That's good.
That's scary.
mass, because you have this technology that's meant for good and somebody overtakes it and hacks it. And at the end, what was cool, she was at a hearing of like what had happened, and like the partner, she found the guy, like found him. So what do you think? Did she kill him or she arrested him?
Yeah, well, because everyone thought she was dead.
Yeah.
It was like they made it seem like
She
she committed
committed
suicide. Yeah, and so
The
at the
partner.
very end, you see the partner get a text saying "I found him" or something like
Yeah.
that with a number that isn't recognized, and so the last shot is of her like following I guess
him,
the
and
guy.
then it goes to black.
Yeah, she killed him
She killed him. I mean,
because she was dead. She has society
no
thought she was
reason
dead.
to-
She has nothing to fear, and she was in a different country. Like
Yeah.
she literally had no bounds or no
Yeah.
boundaries no reasons why not to kill him.
Yep. So it was just a very good show. X-Files, like I said, felt like it was a movie. It was an hour and a half. Hated in the Nation. So good. And my favorite episode of Black Mirror so far is Playtest. So Playtest is the video game one that you mentioned. Excuse me. I thought the main character was really great. He was an American kind of like backpacking around the world. He literally starts with him putting on a backpack and leaving and traveling all over the place, and ends up in, I guess, like in England. And there's this video game that he needs money, so he finds an app. It sounds a little bit like that app that where you couch
surfing.
couch surfer. So that's pretty much what he did, but with jobs. So he needed to find like a job to get some money. So he
But
found
because
one.
he was backpacking, it'd be like a week or a day or whatever. Just
Yeah.
so he just needed quick money.
Yeah, for like he needed a plane. He got what's it called? Identity theft. So he didn't have his debit card, didn't work. And the whole point of it, he got a call from his mom all the time, worried about him, and he'd never answer. He's like, I have mom problems, like they had issues. Like his worst fear was his dad died of like, what was it, of the memory thing? What is it called? Alzheimer's, yeah. Like
so his
Notebook
dad
style.
died, and he couldn't have the relationship with his mom. Like he
'Cause he
didn't
never
want to
had
talk.
one.
Yeah, like he was super close. Like him and his dad were BFFs, but he didn't have a relationship with his mother. He's like, so I didn't know. I don't know how to act with her.
Yeah, so that whole thing. So that's why he left. There's a bunch of character development in there. And so he goes to this place to do this experimental video game, right? So they put this implant right here in the back, and you can see like, what is it? What is the thing? Not virtual reality.
I was going to say it was virtual reality.
It's called augmented reality. So augmented reality is, so for the most part, you'll see, like, have you ever used like Pokemon Go? You're out there and you're like, oh, you use your phone and you'll see, but instead of the phone, now it's implanted here in your brain because you're still in the real world. You just see things pop up. That's how it started off, because you'd see the gophers. That's augmented reality. Now there's a different step where it's virtual reality. Now everything is fake. You're in now, and
like in a house. The whole
you're,
thing
you're
is
sitting here and you're experiencing something else. So yeah, like in that one, he went into a house, and they said it's a scary episode
haunted
because it uses his fears. So the bully that bullied him in high school, whatever, he kind of saw him. He's like, well,
turned it into a spider who he was. You also learned that he was
afraid of.
afraid of spiders.
kind of like you have a spider, fear. So he saw a huge spider with this woolly head on it and like monster, like, and he's like, oh, okay, it's not going to hurt him. And it goes really cool. So there's just all these things in there. And there was a cool mention in there. I mentioned it on Twitter. There's a callback to this video game called BioShock that they use a line like, would you kindly, as a form of control. So just a little bit into BioShock. The whole point of that game is like, are you doing it just because you do it as a person or as a character? Are you choosing to do this? Or are you doing it because we're telling you to do it? So in that video game, the guy would always say over the radio, he'd be like, would you kindly go to the cafeteria and pick up, and he had this accent and stuff. So you find out later that you're being controlled. The key word is, would you kindly? And then you do everything he says afterwards. So this is kind of a little bit of that. They even poked fun at that. Like she said, would you kindly go upstairs, open the door to get out to the access point? Anyway, it's a trippy episode. It's hard to explain, but it's very, the theme is great. It's scary. A lot of weird stuff. One of those like in a dream, and where does it end? It's kind of open ended. Do you think it's open ended, or was it pretty straightforward that it ended?
Because he was killed. No, you don't know if he gets killed, because he gets killed in like the virtual in the virtual reality, but then he wakes up, and so you think everything's okay, but then he gets killed again. Like, so he keeps dying, and you don't know it's real. But I think
at the very end,
well, he
with the
lost
phone.
his Well, he lost his memory, not like his
that
brain.
Was, that was still part of the
another
fear.
death.
Another death. So it's very trippy. At the very end, the way the show ends is him going back home. He finally gets back home. He goes to his mom. She's like, I have to call him. And then she's like, Mom, I'm right here. Mom. And then like and they just show that first part before the Gophers when they're uploading and the phone vibrates, because he had turned on his phone to take a picture of a prototype, and they told him phone's off. So the frequency interfered with the upload. So and that's open-ended still, because did he experience all that in that like millisecond? And then it's a trippy episode. It's so good.
That's a really good episode.
That's why it's one of my favorites. And I can relate to the fears and the all that kind of stuff, like the virtual reality. That's where we're going. There's these things. Have you ever heard of the Oculus Rift? Or like the Gear VR, that whole kind of thing?
You get sick. Doctors are saying that it's really bad for you.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Dude, would you use one of those? Would you go, like, if you had a chance, hey, you know what, neural implant, boom, for any of these things, it's for like a virtual HUD. You can see your Facebook feed there. You can see your record all those conversations.
But I would use it to travel the world. Like
what? Oh, like VR?
Yeah, like I want to go to Paris.
Do you know there's actually the Oculus Rift.
Like this.
Oculus Rift and Google. What?
What was that movie you made me watch?
Which
that
one?
it happened?
Terminator?
Which one? No.
That it happened? What are you talking about?
Where?
Titanic?
No, where he has the goggles.
Oh, no. Mars, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's not the name of the movie.
Velocity.
What is it called?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Man, I couldn't.
So Total Recall. Let's talk about Total Recall. Was it a dream or was it not? Anyway, so VR, there's Google released this whole thing where you can actually walk in, like you're saying, let me go to Paris right now. You'll do, you know how you have Google Street View, but with your VR. And I've heard it's totally amazing. Like, it changes your perspective because you're in that scale. So you're looking up, you'll see the Eiffel Tower, you'll walk down the street and you use super cool.
But what if you get run over? No, but it's not. You're in. Let's say you're here, and you have your controllers, and when you look around, just like when you use those things, but 360, just like that. But it's Street View. Well, no, you won't feel it. Feel it.
What does that mean? You smell it? No, because it's just pictures. It's pictures of, that's where we are right now, but that does exist where you're like, let me visit this place. I mean, several years ago, we didn't have Google Earth, and now we do, and that's amazing. When we saw that, like, holy, that's where I live, and you zoom in. I mean, we all did that, like, wow, I always look at the island, how crazy the island is, like how far we are from everything in the world, how insignificant we are, So it's amazing. Anyway, VR, I can't wait. Like, I wish I could afford one of those things. An Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift's like $800, and then you need a PC good enough to run it.
Can you a baller?
No. I don't have a good PC. I didn't need to
Sell
spend
a
like.
kidney or something.
That's probably what I'll do.
Black market.
Plasma. Anyway, I can't justify for video games to spend $1,500.
Think about it, 2 days.
You know what? I am gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I should just buy one. I need it. My kids want one, so it'll be fun. Yeah. Anything else? Black Mirror. Anything I missed? Anything that you liked?
Overall, the
Claudia?
episodes that you have seen, how would you rate it? Are you going to continue to watch
I
the show?
am. I want to watch Hated in the Nation, and I want to watch.
good.
I want to finish watching that one that you just mentioned about the plate.
Playtest.
One's good.
Yeah, I would
No,
recommend
it's
the
really
top three. I mean, they're all really good. They have their good things. But those are just my top three: Playtest, Hated in the Nation, and White Christmas.
As scary as
Loved
it
it.
sounds, I don't think some of the episodes are that far fetched. Like, I mean, 5 years ago, we would have thought that what's happening in our world today would be
Wouldn't
far
happen,
fetched,
yeah.
and look at us now. You know,
I
like,
know. I can
like-
see the pig thing happening. Like,
look at us
in our
now.
world. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's gonna give people ideas. Also, it's one of those things where they're grabbing stuff from stuff that's happened, but I don't
Just
know.
times two.
Do you
Yeah,
think
times
any
two.
of those any of those episodes could be turned into movies? Like, I think the plot.
I
is
think a
good
lot of
enough.
these, I read briefly, like when I was going through your reliable source, Wikipedia. I saw that one of them was actually brought up to Robert Downey Jr. to be a movie, so maybe it didn't go that far, but they said, hey, this would be a great episode. It's a good thing too. It could be like a new director, like a different director for each one, different script. That's pretty much what it is. It's an anthology. So
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, I love how they're not just stuck to, oh, this one has to be 40 minutes. This one has to be an hour. Like, they're all different. Like, how long it takes you to tell that story effectively is how long you have.
Yeah.
So you got an hour and a half to tell Hated in the Nation, which is great.
Imagine that applied to work. I think the story merits 2 hours.
What story?
Because you said
Oh.
like it doesn't matter how long like it takes to tell that story as
Yeah.
long as you tell it effectively.
Yeah, it's like other shows, like, for example, like some of the Netflix shows that were there, like, they don't have to be 13 episodes. You can, like, tell the story in 8 or 6.
Okay, Claudia.
What?
What?
Game of Thrones.
Well, no, not Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones needs, the thing I like about Game of
No,
Thrones.
The Walking Dead. Just
Walking
kill the
Dead has a lot of
zombie.
filler. There's some filler. No, but it's not about the zombies. We've talked about this. It's about the people. Again, every show has their filler, but they should. Like here nowadays, you don't have to have your filler. You just put your best out there. But
With you.
yeah, but this show pretty much, like, there's nothing that I hated, like I regretted watching. But like it was just, I mean, I had my favorites in there. It was good show.
Yep.
You, Melinda?
From what I
Did
remember.
Did you hear anything about a season 4? I mean, I think that's inevitable, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been canceled yet, so I mean, it's
And I had been hearing about this one, like on some of my podcasts that I listen to. They're like, "Have you seen Black?" They start talking about virtual reality, and they're like, "Have you seen Black Mirror?" And they'll mention it to their co-host. They're like, "No, you got to watch Black Mirror," that kind of thing. So where the interest came, I was like, I just got to check the show out. And I know you had seen it, so. But immediately, yeah, it's great, not and not too far fetched either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's original, very original.
Anything else, guys? That's it. So, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, watch it. Hopefully, we didn't spoil too much for you, but I think there's
we
still
spoiled
we spoiled
literally
everything.
every
except
episode.
for White Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, check them out. Let us know what you liked, if you liked them, and yeah, that's about it. We really like them. Hope season 4 comes along and it's just as great as season 3. It was really strong.
Yeah.
I loved a lot of the other ones, but really enjoyed the show. So let us know what you think. My name's Jim,
Claudia?
Melinda?
and thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye.
Or day. Or morning. Maybe.
Maybe. You're gonna sit like that the whole time? Can you scoot in that way? Closer to Claudia?
Come on, Melinda. I don't bite.
You say that every time. That's a new one.
Or do I?
I gotta start quickly because I think you look pretty good.
You think
What?
you
Did I just stop talking?
yes, he said we have to start quickly because I think
I don't know. Can you check if I'm in the shot? I think I. No, it's super awkward. I'm gonna move you, okay? Okay, I wasn't mad. I'm super strong.
this is
Too awkward? Okay, then move a little bit. Tilt this way. There you go.
What was I supposed to do? I'm not a liar like Jim.
It's true.
Just be like, he snapped it.
Hey y'all.
That's a
I'm
lie
sick.
still.
Yeah.
Hey y'all. Bleh, I'm
Some
sick.
proof. We need proof next time, okay?
No.
We do.
Mission
Very
episodes.
visual generation.
No.
You say you're sick, we want to see you being sick. Or it didn't happen.
Does Mark know you use his koozies?
No. It's a Easter egg.
He doesn't watch it, so he can't know.
There you go. But I used the one that I made. Yes. So.
It's not your property,
I
though.
know. It's okay. It's my friend.
Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Only one.
You're in your locker room talk, Claudia.
Yeah, like Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
It's not locker room talk.
It's a
Question.
sexist one.
He's not sexist.
You're sexist.
Put that in.
Kind of thing.
We're gonna lose because remember when he lied to both of us about the
I did not lie.
exchange?
No, I know.
You lied to
Jim
yourselves.
was so good at lying. He would win super fast.
We need to play that game. I really want to play it.
You're saying that as a good liar, though. You know when both of us lie.
Yep,
Do I?
you do.
Did I know when you lie? Do I?
I wouldn't spike you. That's mean. I'm not that evil.
When I first started working
She
here,
said she
you
was gonna
said
spike you.
multiple times.
People said I was gonna do that, and then I started agreeing with it. But I won't. I wouldn't do that to you, Melinda. You're from Roma. Hello.
What does that mean?
I don't want to like go missing or something because you have a grudge. Just kidding. No, I wouldn't do that. I seriously wouldn't do that. I'm not that I mean, what the hell? You guys think I'm a monster?
Nobody said no. We don't. We don't think you're a monster.
I know, Claudia.
You're not a monster.
You're evil. These are my friends, guys.
Yep.
My only friends.
Gaio check.
Check 1, 2, 3.
Long
Guys,
ha. Tuck in. Look at the Harry Potter one. You have something in your hair. It's a piojo.
It's a beautiful.
Mm-hmm. You got it up.
What
Is
Harry
it
Potter?
Now I frame that poem like, Linda, put this on her lonka.
You framed it.
So weird.
The first. How long did it take for you to say that to her when she started working here? You're
To
so
say like
her
weird,
second
Claudia.
day?
Second day.
No, it was on the way to the Wings place my first day, no?
Hello and welcome to the Kind of Sort of Maybe show. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about something on Netflix that
And you have to start
hopefully
again.
you.
You started while I was like making a face and fixing my hair.
Perfect. That's a perfect one.
Is it still recording?
I'm sick. I am sick.
Is it still recording?
Yes,
Jim, you have like 3 new canas.
I do.
Who made
Don't
you
tell him
mad?
that because then he'll pluck them out.
It's Claudia, Melinda,
That's right.
and Ari. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, hey, this is Ariana.
I've never seen you mad at
Kelly.
Adi.
I have when you erased my cat.
At Ari?
I assumed it was her because you were here at the office.
What? When? Which cat? Oh, where'd the other cats go?
I erased him. I was
Out
mad.
of anger? That's what happens, right? Oh, yeah. One time, yeah, I erased one cat out of anger.
Net sound.
Hey, clap
Luke
again.
choosing the audio?
No, Claudia, you still don't know how this works. I sync the audio later in post.
Okay.
Oh.
Have you ever explained to me what you're
I did, like
Yes.
4 times. Okay, let's come back.
Whatever.
Do we have to redo this?
No,
This is weird.
no,
You
we
can
don't.
just cut it.
I can, but let's,
Just jump cut it.
okay.